The two very best fighters at 175. Dmitry Bivol becomes undisputed champion at 175. A victory over his rival and a victory over his ex-wife.
This is a guy who wanted revenge. Dmitry Bivol came in with a different game plan, and it actually paid off in the long run.
I mean, he was not afraid to engage more with Artur Beterbiev and to take his shots.
And this second fight, just standing his ground a little bit more, sitting down a little bit more on his punches.
Turkey said that our trilogy was going to be set in motion if Bivol came out on top. Does Artur Beterbiev take the trilogy? Now going down to the Coco, we had Shakur. Floyd Schofield had to pull out. And we had Josh Padley, a electrician from the UK, undefeated fighter.
He won very easily, and he thought, that's my statement. Everyone's saying I'm a boring fighter. I got a TKO. Everyone on Twitter was still hating on him. So is there anything that Shakur can do right?
He fights tactical, and people say you're boring. He gets a knockdown, and they say that you just KO'd an electrician. Shakur can't do anything to please the people.
Welcome back to another episode of the Last Round Podcast, where we cover everything from traditional boxing to influencer boxing and everything in between. In today's episode, we'll be going over Riyadh season, the last crescendo, headlined by Dmitry Bivol as he became the new undisputed champion against Artur Beterbiev. We will also be giving our official predictions for this upcoming week's Gervonta Davis versus Lamont Roach. But before we get into the episode, make sure to like and subscribe and follow us on all forms of social media. Lastly, we're trying to build up a community on Discord, so you guys joining the server would be greatly appreciated. But now diving into the episode, we finally had the rematch featuring Artur Beterbiev as he looked to maintain his status as undisputed champion against Dmitry Bivol. And this fight was honestly great. This main event, the two very best fighters at 175. First fight, very controversial. People believe Dmitry Bivol came out on top. Judges saw it a different way and gave the fight to Artur Beterbiev. And now this fight, Dmitry Bivol set his sights on, avenging his loss. He said he had to be perfect in each and every round. And I guess the judges were on his side for this one. And he is now the new official undisputed 175 champion.
Yeah, it was a great fight. And, I'm super happy for Bivol. I predicted last episode that Beterbiev was going to win. So I got my prediction wrong, but I'm still not mad. Seeing how happy Bivol was after that fantastic performance, you just got to tip your hat off to him.
Yeah, for me, I would even say this was a great main event. This was an excellent main event and a great card overall. You know what I'm saying? This was such a really good fight. I mean, this is a guy who wanted revenge. Dmitry Bivol wanted to get his lick back in blood, and he finally was able to get it. Super entertaining. It wasn't really a back and forth action so much than how I remember it. Like in the first fight, it was completely different. Like Dmitry Bivol came in with a different game plan, and it actually paid off in the long run, which to me was kind of a surprise, because who would have thought that someone would kind of want to stand mid-range, close range to a guy like Beterbiev. Yeah,
it was interesting to see Bivol standing his ground a lot more than what he was doing in the first fight. Of course, he was still using footwork, a lot of footwork going on, usually on the back foot, but it was very apparent that he was ready for counters. Like, he was inching for Beterbiev to throw something out so he can quickly counter him. And I think that was amazing. Also, another thing is that he kind of switched up from the first fight. Instead of going really hard in the first half and then gassing out in the second half, it was kind of the opposite. He kind of took it kind of slow in the first 6 rounds, but towards the end, I mean, he was pulling these rounds out with great performance, and it looked like Beterbiev was the one that was more tired than Bivol. So good adjustments made by Bivol this second fight.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was predicting Artur Beterbiev to come out on top for my prediction in the last episode, and that kind of stemmed from, my argument was that he was going to have time to recover from his knee surgery that, kind of didn't allow him to fully train during the first fight. And now that he had some time to recover and kind of go through a training camp with a healed knee, I figured maybe we're gonna see a different Artur Beterbiev, and to a certain degree we did. I like the pace that Artur Beterbiev was able to push out throughout the fight. I think he maintained good pace. I mean, his aggression was always going to be there. His power was always going to be there. And, of course, his volume was a big talking point, especially in the first fight. And there was a lot of instances in this rematch where Artur Beterbiev, his pace during the opening, first 2 minutes of the round was fantastic. But I think there was a moment in the fight. I think it was nearly the end of the first half and in between the middle part of the fight where it seemed like Dmitry Bivol gassed out, or he was simply taking the rounds off. But Artur Beterbiev was pushing the pace, and he kind of won nearly 2 or 3 rounds back to back to back like that.
Yeah, it was like in the middle of the fight, it was 3 or 4 rounds that Beterbiev was winning, and it looked like the momentum was all on his side. It looked like he was just going to continue to grow, and Bivol really couldn't do anything. I mean, it was extremely low output in those 3 to 6 rounds for Bivol. But I think that was the game plan. I think his game plan was, calm down a little bit. He did edge, I think, the first 2 rounds. So then he was like, okay, let me relax a little bit, get the pace of the fight. And he made adjustments 7 through 12, I think. So it was really impressive. I did not expect Bivol to do that, but, I mean, he shocked the world.
Yeah, me neither. Especially because the way, maybe we can get into our personal scorecards, how we had it at the end of the fight. But for me, I felt like Bivol won the first 3 rounds, and then he just took a long break during that middle half of the fight. And then I want to say around maybe round 8, but maybe especially round 9, it looked like Bivol just came back with the second win. He just won that round so well. I mean, that's as close as you can say without a knockdown that could have been a 10-8, because he came back super good, super strong, and then from then on he took back control of the fight.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know about 10-8, but it was definitely, that round 9 was definitely a very good round for Dmitry Bivol. Also, I think even before that, he was having good rounds prior, midway through the fight, 7th, 8th round. I think he started pulling back into the fight, and that's what made it very entertaining. The fact that going into maybe closer to the championship rounds, I mean, there's still the fight was still in the balance. You still didn't really know because, like you said, Dmitry Bivol kind of had the advantage early on, and then Artur Beterbiev switched the momentum, and then all of a sudden Dmitry Bivol's right back in there. So you didn't know whether or not Dmitry Bivol was going to be able to continue keeping the momentum on his side, or if Artur Beterbiev was going to tilt the odds to his favor, which made the fight very tense, and it made you think you never know, man. Dmitry Bivol is doing well at these rounds right now, but Artur Beterbiev, you can't count him out. You can't count him out because he's got that power that it's gonna make you. He can change the outcome of a fight with just one punch.
Yeah, and also, I mean, I believe he won the 12th round as well. He finished the fight strong, and he was always in there. But I think it was clear that the clear man won. Everyone on social media, it was pretty much the consensus that Bivol won that fight. Even if you look at their faces, I mean, obviously you can't tell the fight just from the damage of the face. It's a very casual thing to do. But in the first fight, Beterbiev was really not marked up like that. And it was Bivol, actually, that had a lot more marks. In this fight, Beterbiev, his whole face was marked up. And it was kind of crazy because it looked like Bivol. I mean, people were kind of shitting on him a couple of years ago, I guess, talking about his power, saying he wasn't a power puncher anymore. I mean, he showed decent power. It looked like it was hurting, or at least respect from Beterbiev. So, really impressive.
Yeah, I feel like that has to stem with just him in this second fight, just standing his ground a little bit more, sitting down a little bit more on his punches. I think they had a little bit more pop to it. And yeah, I feel like also just the effective counter, he was doing a pretty good job of countering Beterbiev's aggression to his favor, and then he was being able to land the cleaner blows. I mean, because Bivol was faster than Beterbiev, so he was just beating him to the punch speed. His hand speed is pretty fast. So, and then the timing is there as well. So I feel like that. Yeah, I mean, I feel like I wasn't even mad. I mean, I was going for Bivol, and I got my prediction right.
Yeah, I think one of the big things that surprised me about Bivol was, of course, his execution to the game plan that they came into the fight for. But the other big thing was, I mean, he was not afraid to engage this time more with Artur Beterbiev, and even when Beterbiev would land clean shots on Dmitry Bivol, Bivol ate the punch, man.
And he came right back too.
He came right back. He showed a great chin, and I think one of the only other moment in his career where he was caught clean was against the Joe Smith fight. You know, at the end of the bell, Joe Smith landed like an overhand right, and then Bivol, you know, shaken up, kind of stumbled a little bit. You know,
put him on skates,
little awkward steps back to his corner, and that's probably the only other moment in his career that I remember him being hurt. But I mean, we're talking about Artur Beterbiev, a man who prior to Dmitry Bivol had stopped every single one of his opponents. He absolutely has that power, and for Dmitry Bivol, especially for the rematch, to be more confident within the pocket and exchange with Artur Beterbiev, and to take his shots, clean shots that he took from Artur Beterbiev, it showed that he has a great chin, and I think very underrated, and I think it really surprised a lot of people about that.
Yeah, so I personally, what were your guys' scorecards for this fight? Because I personally had it 8 rounds to 4.
Yeah, for me, there was like one round in particular. I can't remember what round it was, but it seemed like a really good toss-up. It looked like Beterbiev started the round really well, and then Bivol ended it. But in my personal scorecards, I had the exact same one that you had.
Yeah, I'll say 7-5. I can see the 8-4. But I think Bivol did win this one. Maybe if I watch it over again, maybe I have a different outcome to it. But I mean, the first glance at it, I was like, I already knew Bivol was going to win. I mean, I didn't even stay for the judge's announcement. I was like, oh, he's gonna win, and I want to go shower.
Well,
but
were you surprised that it was a majority? Because one judge gave it 6 rounds to 6.
I'm not surprised because you said online a lot of people were saying, oh yeah, Bivol won, but I saw a lot of people contrary to that saying I saw it a draw or maybe a 7-5 for Bivol. So there's some people who believe that the fight could have been a draw, and you kind of have to go back and rewatch the fight and kind of try to see maybe where they got that from.
Who said that? KD Bivol?
Oh, yeah.
No, I mean there's some other notable names there, but a lot of people saw maybe a draw in there and like a 114, and it wasn't as kind of widespread as the judges had it or as the commentary was perceiving the fight as, and they also made the argument that Bivol was pressing, Beterbiev was pushing the action. Even though, yes, he when he would throw like his combinations, they weren't fully landing, but he was displaying, volume, his output, his aggression towards the fight. And Bivol was just more on the back foot, kind of waiting on the counterattack, this and that. So that's the same type of argument they were using during the first fight. And I think at the end of the day, Turkey said that a rematch or a trilogy was going to be set in motion if Bivol came out on top. I'll be honest. I don't think I want to see the trilogy. I think we're gonna see the same outcome again. I think Bivol will beat Artur Beterbiev in the trilogy, and it's apparent that Beterbiev just can't really compete against Bivol at this moment just because of the age, I feel, and I think the age is catching up to Artur Beterbiev. Maybe if this fight was done 6 years ago, 6 years ago, a completely different Artur Beterbiev would have seen in there. I think a lot quicker, a lot more in shape, or even though he's always in top shape, but just more primed up Beterbiev. But yeah, I'd rather see Dmitry Bivol fight someone else, man. Honestly.
Yeah, it also sucks because they're kind of holding back the 175 division as well. Because, I mean, we have great fighters. Obviously, Benavidez is there itching. He was ringside at Riyadh in Saudi Arabia, and, he's itching for the winner, for Bivol now. You also have Callum Smith, who got a great victory, and he's, like, really close to becoming a mandatory for one of the belts as well. I mean, there's a lot of moving parts, like at 175. So with these guys, a trilogy, I mean, they're just they're taking up the whole division. Like,
right. Would you like to see a trilogy?
I mean, I wouldn't be opposed to it.
Yeah.
I mean, there were good ass fights. I'm gonna be honest. But I think there's better stylistic matchups at 175 that are more that are more interesting for me. Like I'd love to see it again. It's gonna be another good fight, but I think two. I think two is enough.
Yeah, people were saying online, oh, if they do make the trilogy happen, and Benavidez has to wait a little bit longer, why not make Callum Smith against David Benavidez?
Yeah.
And that'd be a good one too. I mean, Callum Smith, former champion at 168. I mean, he's fought against Beterbiev, against Canelo. He's got experience in there, and he's also a big contender at 175 as well. Coming off a win. He's also the interim for the WBO.
Okay, yeah.
So 2 interim champions going up against each other, and then the winner gets the winner of the trilogy. But I think it'd be good for Benavidez, in case he doesn't get Dmitry Bivol next, for him to kind of go for Callum Smith. My only issue would be, though, is does Artur Beterbiev take the trilogy? Because I mean, he's 40 years old, 2 hard camps. Can his body take 3?
Listen, I think he wants to. You know, he got on the mic. He said, "Now it's my time to come back."
Yeah.
You know, and also they finally embraced after their fight, Bivol and Beterbiev. And Bivol talked about it in the post-fight. He said, you know, I looked up to you when we were on the national team. I want to shake your hand. So they shook hands, and everything was good. They gave the decision to Bivol, and then Beterbiev says, "I won't shake your hand anymore because we got one more fight." So I think Beterbiev wants that fight, and I think he believes he can beat Bivol. So if Turkey sends them a contract, I think both of them will sign it.
Yeah, I think so too, and I think Bivol is a man, and I think he will for sure honor that trilogy fight. But look, if I were to describe myself, like I'm not mad about that. I wouldn't be too mad that they're holding up the division. You know, I feel like I'm like a fat kid at a candy store. You know, I'm happy with either decision, whether the trilogy happens or Bivol fights Benavidez.
Well,
Or Canelo. Sorry.
Or Canelo. Yeah, 'cause I know Canelo also wants to get his leg back from Bivol.
I don't know if Canelo would ever take the rematch against Bivol, especially now. But no, yeah. So Dmitry Bivol out on top against Artur Beterbiev, avenges his only loss and becomes undisputed champion at 175. So Dmitry Bivol's got a lot to celebrate. Got, you know, a victory over his rival and a victory over his ex-wife.
Yeah, everyone online was saying, "Yo, someone's got to check on Bivol's ex-wife because she's punching the air right now."
Well, that was the main event. Let's see what happens next after that. Going down to the co-main event, we had the return of Joseph Parker as he took on late-minute replacement Martin Bakole. Now, this fight was very intriguing when it was first, you know, put up or confirmed, because, you know, Daniel Dubois got sick and had to pull out of the fight. Turkey was like, I gotta find an opponent, right? And then Martin Bakole was all like, "Turkey, I got you. I'm here and I'm ready." But he was not ready, bro. Bro was not ready. You know, I was very excited for the fight because I was, you know, when Bakole got confirmed, I was all like, yes, that's a great fight. Because I was under the impression that Martin Bakole was already in camp. You know, he was at least training. Turns out he's all like, nah, I haven't even started camp. I was like, wallahi, this is not going to be good, man. Turns out he weighed, 315.
Unofficially.
But he looked massive in there. He looked huge in the ring, and I was all like, this is probably not far off, man, of him being 300. And then, yeah, it was, I picked Parker to win just because, you know, the circumstances, and he made easy work of Martin Bakole.
Yeah, 2 rounds. 2 rounds, very quick. You know, Parker barely broke a sweat. It was, you know, it kind of expected. I didn't think Bakole was going to win. I liked the fight that was made because, I mean, that was the best fight that could have been made under those circumstances, right? 2 days notice, you're not going to get like a really big name. Like, look at Shakur Stevenson. They had like an extra day and they just got an electrician from the UK. Like, that's what I was expecting. Some like low level, you know, like heavyweight or something like that. We got Martin Bakole, who, you know, people were regarding him as the boogeyman of the heavyweight division. But, you know, after this knockout, now there's doubts on him, and I kind of feel bad for him. Because, I mean, it's not his fault. You know, he was enjoying his life. He's coming off a great victory against big baby Anderson. You know, he's enjoying his life. And, you know, he gets called 2 days notice. Got to respect the heart of him. But I don't know if this was the right business move for him because I mean, what's next for him? I don't know.
Oh, that's funny because at first I was super ecstatic, about the fight because that was under the same impression that, Bakole, a lot of people were deeming him or giving him the unofficial nickname of like a newer version of George Foreman. Just a big guy who doesn't really need that much torque to put into his punches, and he's still able to deliver a hell of a punch. So I was excited, but once he stepped onto the scale with the whole Gucci fit, I was like, no, it's over. It's over. And speaking about the business move, I think at first I was mad because the fight only ended. The fight ended in 2 rounds. But then I was like, you know what? If we're looking at it from a business perspective, this man made millions in under 6 minutes. And plus, I think on Next, a lot of people were saying that maybe Turkey gave him like a house or something, and like 2 Bugattis or something like that.
I think he gave the house to the Josh Padley.
Oh, Josh Padley?
Padley, yeah. To Shakur's, not to him. I think he still gave him a shit ton of money.
Yeah. I mean, because right after he got off the ring, he touched gloves with Turkey, and Turkey was like, "You got paid."
Yeah. And also, Turkey, it looks like he still wants to bring him back. He said in May, hopefully he gets Martin Bakole. So it's not the end of the world. We'll see how it plays out. Turkey, he doesn't care if you take a loss. At least he showed balls, he showed heart. So it looks like Turkey's still gonna bring him in for another big payday.
Yeah. So Martin Bakole has been destroyed in 2 rounds as expected. I was very sad about it, especially the way he went out too. Oh my gosh,
that was crazy. It was like a what's the word? It's like delayed. Yeah, it was like a delayed knockout.
Yeah, it was insane. He fell down, couldn't, blah blah blah.
Yeah, what's funny is that there was only like one good camera angle that got like the knockdown, because when you first saw it at first glance, all you see is Josh Parker seeming to be whiffing that right hand, the overhand right, and then you just see Martin just kind of like fall down. You're like, what just happened?
I was surprised too when I was watching it live. I didn't think the punch landed, and it really it was a grazing shot, but it was like right on the top of the head. It took Bakole's equilibrium completely out. So I mean, it was a sneaky punch. Maybe the modern day ghost punch. I don't know.
Well, now Joseph Parker has wins over Martin Bakole. He has wins over the Big Bang. He's got wins against big names. Deontay Wilder in there too. He's a man with a mission, and he seems to be eyeing for a title shot against Alexander Usyk. Now Alexander Usyk said also, I only have, I'm only planning 2 more fights. And originally the plan was for the first fight was going to be against the winner of Dubois and Parker. But now that kind of delays his plans, or kind of there's an obstacle in there, because Joseph Parker just came off a win. He wants a shot. Daniel Dubois, I mean, he was sick, so you don't really know if he's he's still a man in form though, so you can't take that away from him. So who do I pick? Joseph Parker or Daniel Dubois? Of course, Usyk already said he wants Daniel Dubois.
Yeah.
The rematch is set to be set in stone technically. So it's gonna be interesting to see what Joseph Parker does. Maybe he waits until Usyk retires, or maybe he tries to get a shot at Usyk after the Daniel Dubois. But then, Usyk said, I want Alex Pereira. He wants Chama.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say too. Yeah.
He wants Chama. And if Chama wants to smoke, Chama's going to get smoked. I'm sorry, man. In the boxing ring, there's no way that Chama beats Alexander Usyk. But we all love Chama, so.
Yeah, absolutely no chance. But, you got to feel a little bit bad for Joseph Parker, man. He, like you said, he has one of the best resumes for heavyweights. He's fought everybody. He has a veteran, and he got the resurgence in his career. And this was his golden opportunity to beat Daniel Dubois and get the golden ticket at Usyk for Undisputed. But the fight fell through, unfortunately. And it looks like they're still pushing for Daniel Dubois. Even Turkey himself said he believes that people want Dubois against Usyk. So it kind of sucks for Parker, man. He didn't do anything wrong, and he just continues to win. But it doesn't seem likely he's going to get the title shot, and that's unfortunate.
Maybe we can get Joseph Parker fight against Jake Paul. Jake Paul's coming off a win against heavyweight former champion Mike Tyson.
Yeah, the former undisputed heavyweight champion.
Yes, the Iron. So maybe Jake Paul takes on Joseph Parker next. You never know. Jake Paul, he's been eyeing for to be known as a credible boxer. So maybe a fight against Joseph Parker will be the name that he needs in order to kind of cement that amongst the public fans.
He knocks out Joseph Parker, begins the title run. Next, he fights Usyk for all 4 belts, and then he wins.
No. He beats Joseph Parker, and then he fights Chama, Alex Pereira, because Alex Pereira knocks out Alexander Usyk with the hook.
God,
there you go, bro. Imagine that. No, but so that was the co-main event featuring Joseph Parker as he successfully defends his status as an informed fighter, taking out Martin Bakole in 2 rounds. Now going down to the co-co, we had, I think, Shakur He's back, baby. He's back against Floyd Schofield.
No.
You're right. Josh Padley, late minute replacement because Floyd Schofield, there must have been a virus going on in Saudi Arabia during this time, because how do you get 2 fighters back out in the same during fight week?
Yeah, this fight week was like crazy. It was scary. It seemed like the whole card was going down.
Dude, it was so scary. People started making rumors about Madrimov and Ortiz was off.
We got AI Eddie Hearn, like what the hell is going? And I believe them. I'm gonna be honest. I believe them. You know?
Yeah, you told me. You're like, bro, no way. And I was like, nah, it's AI. It's confirmed fake.
Shit, I was late. You know, I was a little late.
No, but we had So Floyd Schofield out of commission. His father posted a video of him just knocked out in the hospital. I'm like, bro, you don't gotta do that, man.
It should have just been a post of like black text and like just the like words on it. You know what I'm saying? Like a black screen and just like white text. Me like, sorry, we pulled out for medical reasons. You don't have to post a video of your son with tubes down his throat. That was a little bit like,
it was OD.
Yeah,
well, it's because people were like shitting on Floyd Schofield, and I guess he felt the need to post proof of how severe the illness was, but I think it did more damage than good. I saw a lot of people try to compare like, oh, who did it better, and they're like Shakur when he got like surgery in his hands, in the hospital, or Floyd Schofield. And then Oscar De La Hoya.
What did he say? What Oscar said?
No, I posted a picture of Oscar when he went to the hospital too. That was Undisputed, man. No, but Floyd Schofield had to pull out, and we had Josh Padley, a electrician from the UK, undefeated fighter, get the call from Turkey, say, hey, you wanna earn a little overtime? He said, why not? Let me clock out here and let me fly out there. And then you know what happened? He got that paycheck and he lost. Mm-hmm. But I respect the balls of that man. I mean, he came in up against, Shakur. Shakur is considered, he's, of course, champion. A champion at 135, but he's considered one of the best fighters in the planet. Top 15, top 20, And there was no way in hell that Josh was ever going to beat Shakur, and it was apparent. But, I mean, I give him a lot of props for taking the fight and trying to make it a fight in there. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, he tried to do something in the first round, and it very quickly turned into the Shakur Stevenson show, like we all expected. But, Padley was doing it for all the blue-collar workers. You got to respect it, man. Turkey's going to give him a house, I think. And it kind of sucks for him because he's just going to go back and clock in. How do you clock back in to your electrician job after fighting for like a world title? That actually just hurts.
And making millions too.
Yeah. So, maybe he'll take a little break, He's got the cash now, but, it's what we all expected after this fight fell through, after this fight got announced. Is Shakur Stevenson. He won very easily, he beat Padley, and he got the TKO. And he was like, okay, that's my statement. I got a TKO. Everyone's saying I'm a boring fighter. I got a TKO. Everyone on Twitter was still hating on him. So is there anything that Shakur can do right? Because the fans are completely against him.
Well, look, I like Shakur, right? So he's got a fan in me. But for everyone, everyone else, I saw that too. I mean, this fight was going to always going to end bad for Shakur, no matter what he did. That's why he needed Floyd Schofield in there instead of Josh, because Josh Padley got put in, and they were like, okay, this dude's an electrician. Shakur, no credibility in that. They're already downplaying Josh Padley. Second off, they're saying, but if Josh Padley wins, how's that gonna look for Shakur? And or if Shakur doesn't stop Josh Padley, how's that? That's going to be more negativity towards Shakur. So no matter what Shakur did or was going to do for the fight, no matter the outcome of the fight, everyone knew that the hate was going to be in there, and it didn't really matter. My only issue though was, I think it's apparent that Shakur, he's got brittle hands, man. His hands are definitely play a huge role in how much power he's even able to throw with. Because I mean, first off, he's not really known for his power at all. Let's keep that in mind before the hand injury. Now post the hand injury, and it seems apparent. There's moments in the fight. There's a clip that went viral of Shakur hurting his hand during this fight. So they're saying, dude, this man, I don't know how many good years he has left. I mean, your hands are the most important thing for a fighter, and if you are having hand issues, your career might not have that longevity, or what's
longevity?
Longevity compared to what could have been if you didn't have brittle hands.
Yeah, it's crazy too because he's not like a power puncher, so it's kind of surprising that he has like these weak hands, because like. Look, okay, so Gervonta Davis has that problem too. He's posted on Twitter like after fights saying my fucking hands hurt. I understand that, that boy be whacking his opponents like really, really hard. So he's a power puncher, a lot of force going through those knuckles. He hurts his hand every once in a while. Understandable. Shakur Stevenson, I mean, doesn't really. I mean, he's not punching hard, so it's crazy that he be coming in with these hand injuries.
You know what it is? I think it's just bad genetics, really. At the end of the day, that's what it is, and that's what happens. I think a lot of fighters have to deal with injuries on a daily basis that maybe the public doesn't know about, but they have to deal with it, on their own. Floyd Mayweather was another guy who didn't really have that much power, but he did have hand problems. I don't know if it was both hands or if it was just one hand, but he also had hand problems. But in regards with Shakur and his performance, Shakur can't do anything to please the people. Like he can get a stop. He fights tactical, and people say you're boring. He gets a knockdown, and they say that you just KO'd an electrician.
Yeah, they say it took you 9 rounds to TKO an electrician. It's like he got a TKO, guys. Come on.
But then they'll say it's a late minute replacement.
Yeah.
So yeah, like I said, nothing was ever gonna satisfy the people. So, and Shakur should have known that no matter what he did. Hence why he kind of went a little over the top with the celebration after he stopped. I mean, he was out there like kind of teasing the fans after.
They started booing him.
Yeah, I know.
So that was crazy.
The fans don't like Shakur at all, but Shakur, I am a fan. Okay,
yeah, they got a fan of you.
I'm one of the only fans out there, but I swear there's a couple of us out there. But no, so Shakur gets the win. I mean, Tank kind of laughed at it. He just said "lol." Frank Martin has been going back and forth with Shakur since yesterday. So maybe we can see something happen there. But yeah, Shakur successfully defends his title and remains champion at 135. So let's see what if Turkey decides to keep bringing him back to Saudi Arabia and maybe get that actual Floyd Schofield fight in there. If he's not too mad about what happened, because I know Turkey was kind of pissed off during that full fight week of having to arrange and find opponents for these backouts that he had to deal with.
Yeah, for me, I don't want to see Shakur Stevenson fight anyone else other than Gervonta Davis. I think I don't see a perfect time or a better time than now. I mean, who else do you want to see Shakur fight other than Gervonta Davis? I don't want to see Floyd Schofield go up there again and then not make weight and then gets into the ER again. There's no other fighter no other champion that I would like to see other than Gervonta Davis and Shakur Stevenson at 135.
Keyshawn Davis.
What about Dean the Great?
All right, bro.
Dean the Great.
Let's settle down with this influencer.
Undefeated on Misfits. Okay,
Doesn't he have like a should injury or something?
Man, Shakur's got hand problems, bro. But that don't matter, man. That don't matter. Dean's former Misfits champion. Does Shakur have that title ever? He's never been Misfits champion. So I guess based on that logic, Dean the Great would beat Shakur Stevenson. I mean, he stopped and dropped a Golden Gloves champion in Waleed Sharks.
Yeah. Hopefully the sarcasm is being picked up to the mic.
So that was Shakur Stevenson as he got the 9th round TKO over Josh Padley. Now going to my fight, or my prediction for fight of the year or fight of the night, which didn't turn out that way, but it was a lot more tactical than I expected it in the aspect of Virgil Ortiz as he got his UD win over Israil Madrimov. Now a lot of people, like I mentioned last episode, were disrespecting Virgil Ortiz after the Serhii Bohachuk fight. They were saying, Ortiz overrated. He got dropped twice. Should have lost the fight. He don't got power at 154 against the top guys. And a lot of people were just shitting on him and disrespecting Virgil. I was a little bit, disappointed with the fans' reaction towards Virgil Ortiz, because I've always held Ortiz at high regard. So seeing people come out and say stuff like that about him, I was all like, okay,
Even the commentators were saying something about his performance and just about him too.
Yeah, so I had an issue with the because I rewatched the fight this morning, and the commentary, the first like 2 rounds, they were like, Virgil Ortiz doesn't know what he doesn't know how to decipher Israil Madrimov. Madrimov is, he can't solve the puzzle yet, this and that. Madrimov is moving too much, outboxing, whatever. I'm like, bro, shut up, like Sergio Mora and Manic, stuff like that. You guys are just being annoying. But no, this fight was completely different than any Virgil Ortiz performance, in the fact that it was super technical and he was very disciplined and showed a very disciplined game plan, and he executed it perfectly, and he was the clear victor in the fight, in my opinion.
Yeah, super low output from both fighters. And I was interested last episode, I was curious, like, what style was Madrimov gonna fight in? What was he gonna do? Was he gonna move? Was he going to try to exchange counterpunch with Ortiz? Well, we got the answer. He was moving like crazy. It was like constant movement, especially in the first half. In the second half, it kind of went down a little bit, but it was nonstop movement from Madrimov, and really very, very low output as well. But Ortiz, I think he definitely cemented that he won the fight in the second half. He started going forward, and he was going forward the whole fight, but he started putting combinations together, and he actually started landing some good shots on Madrimov, and Madrimov wouldn't respond. So I think it was clear, who wanted to be in the fight, who was there to win, throw punches, engage, and it was clearly Virgil Ortiz.
Yeah. Actually, before I even get into it, I just wanted to ask you guys a question. Do you think Madrimov would have done better, or do you think he would have beaten Serhii Bohachuk? Because they were supposed to fight originally, and then he was supposed to fight Virgil Ortiz. Like, they were supposed to fight back in December of last year.
Yeah.
Do you think he would have beaten Serhii Bohachuk?
That's a hard one, man, because you look at the way Virgil fought against Bohachuk compared to the way he fought against Madrimov, completely different style. And Israil Madrimov, he probably would have been doing the same kind of game plan in the aspect of just moving around, trying to find openings and try to just, because Bohachuk is just a one, he's just gonna come at you and just pressure you, and that's exactly what he always has been doing. So I wouldn't have expected anything different from him. Madrimov, I would expect the same, him just going around trying to find the openings. That would have been a good fight, man, and I don't mind seeing that fight happen next. I don't know if Bohachuk has a fight scheduled soon or not, but if Madrimov wants to remain in the scene, taking on Bohachuk for a fight that had to get canceled due to, I think it was an illness or whatever from Madrimov. They could make that fight happen. I think it would give us a lot of indication of where Madrimov is, because now, he's back-to-back losses. Once against Crawford, which they were like, okay, it's against Crawford. And now Virgil Ortiz, and they were like, oh shit, because Virgil Ortiz came in as the underdog to the fight. Wow. And a lot of expectation was put on Madrimov to perform, and he didn't perform. So a lot of doubt now, I feel, is arising for Madrimov, and if he wants to remain relevant at 154, he's got to beat a big name, and Serhii Bohachuk is there.
I think, that's a good fight. If Madrimov were to fight the same way that he fought Ortiz, I think he'd lose. But I don't think he would fight the same way, because I don't think Bohachuk has the power and the explosivity of Virgil Ortiz. I think that's why Madrimov was really, really kind of scared. Also, so there's rumors that he was sick too. We'll put those aside, But I think he was just scared of Virgil Ortiz's power and his explosivity. So I think they'd fight a little bit different, but I think I'd edge it towards Bohachuk.
Yeah, I think I would too, because I just feel like Madrimov is a little too short once it gets to the elites at 154. No disrespect, not saying that he can't become a world champion. I just think, given his height, I just think he can't beat these top elite guys at 154. I think he's kind of like bottom, like contender type fighter at 154. So with him and Bohachuk, I would favor Bohachuk. And in regards to him and fighting Ortiz, a lot of people were saying that this was going to be fight of the night, but I mean, for Madrimov, when in doubt, he just boxes. Like, that's what he does. He bounces around. He goes from, does a lot of lateral movements around the ring. And I just felt like Ortiz was going to be able to do a good job of cutting down the ring. And I think he used effective aggression in order to stop the rhythm of Madrimov. And I think that's that. And also just the high volume of punches later on in the second half of the fight. I think... in my opinion, honestly, I think Ortiz did a better job of beating Madrimov than Terence Crawford.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I saw that. A lot of people were saying that too, that Ortiz did a lot better than Crawford in defeating Madrimov. I think also kind of stems from, the clear physical advantage that Virgil had. And, that's what we also said in the last episode, that, it's going to be a different fight. Virgil Ortiz is a more natural 154-pounder than Terence Crawford. So I was completely not shocked when Ortiz was fucking massive in there. But yes, it's very interesting to see how Virgil fought this fight. Not anything what I expected. I think the best glimpse of Virgil Ortiz, like that he showed, like in terms of his typical aggression or his kind of like his attacking demeanor, was during the 9th round. His best round of the fight, hands down. That was a beautiful masterclass of just pure aggression. And man, there's some moments once Virgil Ortiz lets his hands go,
dangerous.
Danger, man. Like, proceed with caution, because this man will land dynamite on you. And he was out, he was just putting the work in on Madrimov. And I think also the thing about Virgil was his underrated jab and his body work. His body work. I'm surprised that Madrimov. There's some clean body shots that Virgil Ortiz landed on Madrimov, and I'm surprised that Madrimov was able to take those punches because they were clean and they were hard, man.
Yeah, and one funny thing, speaking about Terence Crawford, this fight kind of raised eyebrows for him because his win against Madrimov is kind of not aging that well, A lot of people are saying, "Whoa, he's gonna go up to 168 for Canelo. Maybe I gotta rethink this. I gotta reevaluate this." Because it was apparent. The reason why some people were really they said, "Oh, it was a good win for Terence Crawford," because Madrimov is supposed to be a good fighter. Now back-to-back losses, and this fight especially, I think, tanked his stock a little bit. It's not looking good for Terence Crawford.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and we've been saying that the whole time. The weight is going to be too much for Crawford. That's why I don't want to see that fight. Mm-hmm. It's not going to be... fight Mortazaliev, man. He's right there. And Mortazaliev even came out on Twitter and said, one thing I found in common is that none of these people call out my name.
No. I saw that too, and I was like, I like that. But the reason why is because you're too dangerous and you're too not well known.
Yeah, that's why. They look at the Tim Tszyu fight and they're like, you know what? I'd rather not time.
They don't want the smoke. They don't want the smoke.
So I'm just saying, I think it's Crawford making the financial decision and picking Canelo over any of the other contenders or champions at 154. But that was Virgil Ortiz as he... came out on top, an underdog in the fight, and came out on top and proved a lot of people wrong that he does belong at the top of the 154 division. Going down to, Big Bang, Zhilei Zhang, okay? Heavyweights. Big Bang was always, during the fight week, was saying, "I'll bang you, no Diddy." Kept saying that, and you know what happened? Bro got Diddy'd, bro. Oh my gosh. Kaya Bell, right? I think that's his name, right?
I think so.
Cabel's, what's his name? Caballel. IG Caballel. He's a German, but dude, he put the beating on Zhilei Zhang, and Zhilei Zhang, I feel like they came in with the wrong game plan. They came in trying to I'm much bigger than you, I have more power than you. I'm just gonna quote unquote bang you, and Zhilei Zhang got banged out of there, man. He made him quit, and it was very sad to see. I don't really like watching the fight because I'm a big Zhilei Zhang fan, so seeing them go down like that, I was like, no, Big Bang, why? But good win for Caballel, who adds another big name to his resume, and he seems to be, his stock rises throughout each and every fight he's in. Yeah,
the key for this fight was the body work. Constant body work from Caballel, combinations after combinations. It didn't seem like it was doing much in the first and second round, but they were paying dividends later. And he did face some adversity too. He got hit with a couple good punches. He even got knocked down. He came back and he showed really, really good heart. Showed really good, combinations, really good. Very impressive by him. This is another guy at heavyweight. So the heavyweights are heating up. A lot of good heavyweights right now. So I want to see what he does next. I want to see him against a big name fighter.
Yeah, man, it's okay. So for me, I feel like this was the upset of the night for me. This fight broke my heart. Just like what Pablo said, we are a huge Big Bang fan, Zhilei Zhang, ever since he came up to the scene and everything. But you know what's funny is that Caballel is such a dark horse. What's funny is that right now, apart from Usyk, a lot of these top contenders at heavyweight are tall. They're over 6'4", they're like 6'5", 6'6". Zhilei Zhang is 6'6", right? Joseph Parker 6'5", Martin Bakole 6'4", and Caballel is 6'3". He's not short like Usyk, but he's not tall. He's somewhere average, like in the middle. And I feel like he's been able to use that height to his advantage. The last 3 fights, they've all been in Saudi Arabia. All 3 fights, he stopped every opponent. All 3 fights, he stopped them by a body shot. All of them. So he got Zhang, stopped him with a body shot. Before that, it was Frank Sanchez. Stopped him with the body shot. And then before that, he stopped the tallest Russian dude I've ever seen, like 6'5" Russian dude. Stopped him, dropped him 3 times with the body shot. Boom. I think this guy is the real deal. I think now with this win against Zhang, I think he's now within the top 10. You can say top, not you can say 9 or 10, but I think he's right there within the elites at heavyweight.
Yeah, so it's very interesting to see what Caballel's trajectory is. He's the interim for the WBC. So he's got a big shot at title shot soon. So, and I think he's showing that he belongs at the top of amongst the top contenders at the heavyweight division. So it's going to be interesting to see what they decide to do for his career. He's only 32, so he's got a lot of time to develop his name in that division. Now going on to the opener. We had Callum Smith taking on Botswasi, I believe his Botsy. Callum Smith, former 168 champion, fought the likes of Canelo and Artur Beterbiev. And I'll be honest, I was putting doubt on his name. Yeah. I thought that Beterbiev fight was gonna do it on him, and I didn't think he was gonna showcase the same grit, the same chin, maybe the same will that he had prior to it. But he showed that he does have that, and he came out with a very impressive win, and now cements himself as a somewhat top fighter at 175, and he could potentially look for another big fight there.
Yeah, this was fight of the night. This fight was the fight of the night. Back and forth action. I was also, a little bit of doubt on Smith. I thought Bohachuk was going to take it. He's a prospect, young. Not that young, actually. He's like 31, I believe. But, going up on his career, he was on the upward. So, but no, it really didn't turn out like that. It was a competitive fight, but it wasn't close. The clear winner was Callum Smith. He outclassed him. He showed him that he's levels above Bohachuk. So, very impressive. I want to see what Smith does next.
Yeah, me too. For me, this was my expectations for this fight was super low just because of what you said, Pablo. Just the history with Smith. I'm pretty sure his last fight or his fight before, he fought on some undercard. I really thought that the last time we saw the best version of Smith was when he fought Beterbiev. And he's kind of like trying to come back now. And I think now he's he found his way back. And I think he's now a serious contender, In regards to this fight, though, I think he did struggle a little bit until he kind of like took control of the fight later on in the second portion. I think the experience is what really set him apart from his opponent. And I think that's what helped him take the victory. But I feel like the first half, it was kind of like a rock'em sock'em type of fight because he would throw and then Bowser or no
bazooka
like Bowser, bro.
Botsy would come back and hit him and land terrific shots. And not only that, but he was also a strong opponent as well. I'm not the best with names.
Bowser.
That's what I thought
Botsy.
you said. Bowser.
Botsy showed that he has a chin, and he never went down. He never buckled, and so it just shows that he has heart. So not hating on him. I think he can come back later on, but I just think this was a good experience, learning curve for him.
It shouldn't be as funny. I don't know why it's so funny.
The way he said it.
But in regards to Smith, I'm kind of curious to see what path or what choice they go for. They go moving forward.
It was a good win.
It was so Callum Smith. Now people like we said earlier, David Benavidez could potentially be a matchup that fans want to see in case the trilogy gets made for Bivol and Beterbiev. So Callum Smith has returned to the scene and looks to continue getting those wins and hopefully gets a big title shot or a big name for later in the future. Now switching gears, that was Riyadh season, the last crescendo. Great. It was a great event. It was a great event. And it's I think Turkey should be proud of the event that he put. But now we go over to PBC.
One final thing before it was a great event, like you said, and it was only $26.
Yeah.
That's what I like about Turkey. Giving us quality, great value for our money.
Yeah.
Which is what boxing fans have wanted. I mean, we can't be buying $100 pay-per-views all the time. So shout out Turkey.
Thank you, Turkey.
Well, I mean, there's one fight that we didn't cover, but in regards to him going over to Shiraz's team and telling them that that they're losing, that they were behind on 2 rounds or whatever.
Yeah, a bit of controversy with Turkey. I mean, me personally, I don't think that was good. If that was actually the scorecard, which it seemed like it was. He said you're behind on the scorecards by 2 points. So I don't think that was a good move by Turkey. It seemed obviously favoritism right there. And also, I mean, it seemed that Damis won that fight too. So giving it a draw, Turkey showing favoritism, it doesn't bode that well for Turkey.
No, it doesn't look good, but I feel like at the end of the day, when you bring the money in, you can do whatever you want. If that's your boy.
Yeah, I mean, hey, that's his home, bro. He's in Saudi Arabia. He runs shit over there. So, I mean, I don't like it, though. I'm going to be honest.
Well, PBC would like to have a conversation in this topic in the aspect of the Gervonta Davis returns. Tank is back, and he is taking on a 130 champion, Lamont Roach. Tank, last time he fought was back over the summer against Frank Martin, where he delivered that brutal KO over Frank. And, I mean, Tank said, 2025 is my final year of boxing. So, I guess this is fight number 1 of his, retirement tour. And Lamont Roach seems to be the huge underdog in this fight. I mean, 130 champion going up to 135. Big task against heavy hitter Gervonta Davis. What are you guys' thoughts about the fight?
Yeah, I'm just happy to see Tank back in action. I'm always excited for a Tank fight week. He delivers. He's one of those fighters that he's must-see TV. You have to tune into a Gervonta Davis fight. So I'm expecting a KO also. Lamont Roach, he's a solid fighter, but he's 130. He's from 130, and Tank is just that guy. Tank is that guy. I'm sold on Tank. I think he's really that guy. So I'm expecting a really, really good performance. But what I'm interested in is if he's gonna call out Shakur Stevenson when he gets on the mic.
Yeah, for me, in regards to him, and this is considered one of his final fights, I don't believe him.
I call cap too.
Yeah, I call cap because a lot of boxers are liars. So how can you trust a liar? Either way, in regards to this fight, I think it's going to be a short night. I think Gervonta Davis is going to tap that ass, and it's going to be short. I think I wouldn't say no Diddy. I wouldn't say it's going to be less than 6, but it's definitely going to be less than 8 rounds. Yeah, because look, Lamont Roach, he's a solid guy. He only has 1 loss. His record is pretty good, but when it comes to Gervonta Davis, I just don't see any skills that can match Tank's. And especially when it comes to that power, I don't think Lamont Roach is going to be able to handle his power. Gervonta Davis has brought up a lot of guys from 130 to 135, and they can't seem to take his power. So I don't see how Lamont Roach is going to be able to do anything different.
Yeah, I mean, the last guy that he brought up from 130 was Hector Luis Garcia.
I think so.
He made him blind. He punched him blind.
And then the other guy, he knocked him out in front of his father.
And he killed him.
Yeah.
He was dead. Santa Cruz, R.I.P. Wait, I think that was 130 though.
It was 130.
Yeah,
Oh,
it was 130.
Yeah.
But I mean, the last time, Hector he punched him blind. So I mean, we're talking about crazy power here. So.
So yeah, Gervonta Davis returns, and official prediction for myself, I'm predicting Gervonta Davis to continue his KO streak, and I think he does stop Lamont Roach. Lamont Roach, solid fighter, like you guys said, but levels, and I think he's not the level that Tank is at. Also, I think the weight is going to be a big factor to this fight, and just the fact that Tank is way too much of a heavy hitter for Lamont Roach, and I think it's going to be a knockout. I'd say 7th round knockout.
Well, your idol Sugar Shakur said he thinks Lamont Roach is going to win.
Yeah, I mean, well, of course he's going to say that.
Yeah, he don't believe that himself. I mean, no, I mean, like I said, I think another KO for Gervonta Davis is in the way. Must see TV. So tune in.
Yeah, and for me, Tank is going to get the stoppage, and then he has to call out Shakur. I mean, if this is truly his last fight, his last year as being a professional boxer, he has to go out with the bang and fight Stevenson.
Yeah, so that was our official predictions for Gervonta Davis as he looks to retain his championship status at 135 the WBA and looks to destroy and knock out Lamont Roach. And hopefully, like you said, he calls out Shakur, because Shakur also said, hey, I want that fight too. I want to fight Tank next. So, I mean, if everything goes to plan, Gervonta comes out on top and everything gets settled, maybe we can get a summer showdown featuring Gervonta Davis taking on Shakur Stevenson. But you guys have anything else you guys want to go over? No? Well, let us know down below your official predictions for Davis against Roach, as well as your thoughts on the last Crescendo event, headlined by Artur Beterbiev as he took his first professional loss against the newly crowned Undisputed champion in Dmitry Bivol. Don't forget to follow us on all forms of social media. We are on X, TikTok, and Instagram. Lastly, don't forget to join our Discord. We are trying to build up a community, and you guys joining would be greatly appreciated. Also, don't forget to like, subscribe. But this was Pablo, and I'm with Rudo and Asa, and this was the Last Round Podcast. Thank you for watching.